Hi, everybody. I'm going to do a review of the covenants that we talked about in class, and then I'm going to talk about another covenant, the Davidic covenant. So let's continue. Let's do a quick review. All right. So the first one we have is Noah and the ark. Now, remember the story. Noah is told by God to build an ark, take his family there, and 2 of every animal on the ark, because he's going to flood the world, and remove all of the sinful people. He does that, and then after the flood, God promises that he is not going to flood the earth again. That is the covenant, and the sign of this covenant is the rainbow. Then we move on to Abram and Sarai. The covenant obviously is between Abram and Sarai and God. God calls them to go to this land far away. It's Canaan. And if they follow God, God will give them a son. They will be given land and many descendants. The sign of this covenant is the change of Abraham and change of their name from Abraham to Sarah. Then we move on to the covenant with Moses and the Israelites. The covenant is between the Israelites and God. And what is the covenant? If they follow the 10 Commandments, then God will be their God, and the Israelites will be his people. And then the sign of this covenant is the 10 Commandments tablets. Now I'm going to talk about one that we've not really talked about a lot in the past, but this is the next to last covenant in the Bible. This is called the Dividend Covenant. It is solely from King David. So it's between David and God. This is an extension of the covenant that God makes with Abraham. You'll see what I mean when we scroll through this. The covenant, if David remains faithful to God, God is going to give him all of these things that I'm going to talk about. Okay? So the Lord will build a house for David. This is his not castle, but his place where he's going to live. When David dies, God will raise up his descendants who will come from him. So David is going to have many descendants as well. And that is shown in his son Solomon and Solomon's son. In fact, we're going to trace David's line all the way to Jesus. God will establish his kingdom he's going to continue to establish kingdom David, and God is going to be with David. His descendants shall build a house for God's name. This is the temple that Solomon will build, and God will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. This is a precursor to Jesus. David's house and his kingdom shall endure before God forever. Again, David is going to have a direct line to Jesus. Okay. What is the sign of this covenant? It's Jesus. Jesus is the sign of this covenant, because all these signs point to this Messiah that God is going to send. And he's going to have direct ties to King David. If you have any questions, please let me know, and follow the directions for the next part of this assignment.